3 suspects have been arrested in Diepkloof, Soweto, following this morning's violent protests. Police have also fired stun grenades, rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse the angry hostel residents.
Protesters are angry over a lack of services, they say. They also stoned 2 media cars and looted a beer truck. They've been up in arms for about 3 weeks now.
Well, the situation had remained tense for much of this morning around the Diepkloof hostel, where residents have gone on a second week of a protest action. You can see here behind me, tyres continue to be burnt on the street. Residents in this area say that they are they've been complaining about a lack of access to water and many other service delivery challenges. There's a large police presence that has been in this area. If you take a look right here towards this direction as well, some of the police nyalas that have been deployed to this area since this morning. Take a look, there's some of the tear gas that has just been thrown. They're now flinging stones at the police nyala. The situation certainly has, I'm going to ask my colleagues to move away just a little bit as these stones, we're talking about bricks, stones and anything possible that's being thrown at this police nyala at this stage. More shots being fired while stones are being thrown at police. The situation is certainly untenable.
Izindlu ziyawa kudala bethembisa ukuthi bazobalungisela izindlu ziyawa kade kulungiswa kade kwenza ugesi nawo.
He says houses are collapsing. Plans to electrify this area have halted and the bucket system toilets have not been drained in a long time.
Bekufaka ugesi manje wagcina ungasaqhubeki ukuthi bewuqedele manje asazi ukuthi kwenzakalani.
He says the electrification project that was taking place here has since halted. Houses are a problem. This is why the community is angry.
Isiphetho sakhona sisibona ukuthi yikho kumphakathi usugcina usulwa nje. Kodwa nje inkinga enkulu ugesi because busuqalile kwenye indawo manje abasawuqedela sazi ukuthi kwenzakalani.
There's a stone being thrown. At this stage we're going to try and move back. Bible! All right, wow! Now the media is also now being thrown with stones. This is still where we are at this stage. We're going to have to try and move this vehicle away from here, Francis, because obviously now we're not able to stand too far from it as we've got some equipment that we use to broadcast in here as well. The size of the rocks and the stones that have been hurled towards us have been very concerning.
Siyaxosa kakhulu ngokho kwenzekile, sixosa kakhulu ukuthi nigcine seniveka amatshe imbokodo. Into eyenzakalayo ukuthi labantu laba.
He says they're very sorry for what has happened, that the media is now being attacked. He says some residents looted a beer truck this morning and now they're seemingly intoxicated. That's why they seem to have turned violent. He says this morning they were calm and they agree that the situation is out of hand. So police have managed to clear this very busy Chris Hani Road, which leads into and out of Soweto, and but residents have vowed that they'll continue with their protest action until someone comes and addresses their needs. Chris Lewis, SABC News in Diepkloof.
All right, let's take you to Diepkloof now, where my colleague Mbalenhle Mthethwa is standing by to bring us the very latest. Mbalenhle, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Of course, Chris Hani Road is a very busy one. We saw it closed this morning, but also police doing all they can throughout the course of the day to clear it. Is it still clear for motorists?
Well, Bongi, the reason I have started off screen really is because I just wanted to show you what is happening here. It seems as though the situation has calmed down. We saw people coming out of the hostel at around 4 p.m. this afternoon, just after that meeting that was intended to really just be a report back for the residents of the hostel that you see behind me. And while things might seem as though they have somewhat calmed down, but things could really flare up again, or the protest action could flare up again, because it seems as though the leaders here are undeterred, and they say that they will continue to protest well into the night, and for however long it takes for their demands to be met, and for those in positions of authority in the city of Johannesburg, like the Johannesburg mayor Kabelo Kwamanda, to come down and speak to them and address their issues. They are actually calling for the MMC for housing as well as the mayor to come down and speak to them and address them with regards to the grievances that they have made known to the public. And some of those include the issue of electrification, access to water, as well as ablution facilities. Now, this, they say, is something that they have not had for the longest time, and say they feel as though the government of the day has somewhat forgotten about them and forgotten about providing them with services. They're saying that there are squatter camps or informal settlements that are mushrooming everywhere, and they've seen development in those areas where they have been supplied with electricity, and they continue to wait for any form of service. I'm going to be joined by one of the leaders here, who's going to speak to us about what they plan to do today and well into the evening. Buti siyabonga ukuthi uzokhuluma nathi nje, awusixoxele ngeinhlelo zenu ukuthi inhlelo zenu zibuya kanjani nje njengoba sekuhlo.
Mhlawumbe umuntu akabonga nje ithuba nje lokhu simile ke siqhinqile nje kusukela ekseni. Cha, ake ngikubeka nje ngokusobala ukuthi abantu ngendlela sebethukuthele ngakhona bathi nje ke abezokusuka la bengakamtholi umeya ugodongwane no MMC we housing okuyibona okufuneka bezochaza maqondana nale ndawo yase Diepkloof ukuthi kahle kahle ama plans akhona ne budget akhona ihlali yapi.
Ake ungixoxela ukuthi mhlawumbe kena inkinga mhlawumbe nibhekana nazo ziningi. I mean, ngiyabona ukuthi akhona lama toilet lawa bovu laphayana. Akungixoxela inhloso mhlawumbe kuyimpilo nje la ehostela injani?
Inzima kakhulu impilo ngoba sihlala nezingane ezincane lapha mangingaphosisile bucket system sineminyaka ewu30 ikhona. Nje ubona ama temporary unit nje kuthiwa temporary unit, kodwa lapha sekwa permanent structure. Abantu bayakhishwa nje ezindlini babulawela izindlu nama toilets nje buwabona nje lapha amanye awasaqina la red nje awasaqina cishe na 7 months, and swa reporter na cancela. But akukho kwenzakalayo nje ngeDiepkloof, akukho nje kwenza. Abantu bakhohlisiwe nje, bayakhohliswa nje, so abantu bathukuthele nathi asisena indlela yokuba control ngoba sebevele bathukuthele ngoba kuyadlalwa ngabo.
But yini ngafisa ukuyibona nje yenzeka mhlambe ukuze impilo zenu mhlambe nibone ngathi ziyanakekelekwa ngohulumeni?
Into esifisayo asifuni ibudget enkulu. Sifuna ukuthi ibudget yase Diepkloof hostel njalo ngonyaka mayiphuma izokwenza umsebenzi wase Diepkloof hostel ayingagcini yongena emaphakathini ebeyehla ngemlenze, ayize straight kubahlali base Diepkloof hostel bezolungisela noma ngathi abalungisela lokho okuncane, kodwa lokho okuncane kokwenza umehluko kuyishintsha impilo zabantu.
Futhi kena ake ngibuze ukuthi njengoba kuhlwa nje buti sizobona kwenzakalani khona lana nje mhlawumbe nizokwenza njani, izophindela emgwaqeni ngoba abantu sibayabuya, siyabona futhi namaphoyisa nawo asiqaphile isimo.
Sizoqhinqa nje up until kuze kufike umeya, njengoba sithi sifuna umeya la, sifuna uMMC bezosichazela ngale budget yethu ukuthi kanti iyapi. Nawu nogesi umile obekufanele ngabe uyaqhubeka sekudliwe imali.
Thank you so much. There you have it. That is one of the community leaders here in the hostel, just speaking to us about some of their demands. They are calling on the mayor as well as the MMC for housing to come and address them, and also calling on the budget that is allocated to the area to provide them with services to be used to do exactly that. And they are saying that they do not want that budget to find its way into people's pockets, but to serve the people and build houses for the people, as well as provide ablution facilities. Talking about some of the temporary toilets that were provided to them. They spoke about the issue of the bucket system, which they've been on for a very long time, and the ablutions here have not been cleaned up in 7 months, and some of them have been blocked and are really unusable by the residents here. And this is what has actually forced them into the streets and they say they will continue to protest, and they are standing out here. And I can tell you right now, Bongiwe, that the people have been coming out in their numbers. We've seen cars, and it seems as though people are hanging around here in order to try and go back into the streets and continue with the protest action in order to have their grievances and concerns heard by those in positions of authority or elected into positions of authority in the various municipalities and government structures. For now, though, it is back to you in studio.
Mbalenhle Mthethwa, they bring us the very latest from Diepkloof. We'll continue to monitor developments there because this is an issue that has gone on for decades. I mean, you think about the early 2000s when these very residents were crying about some of the very issues that they're talking about.